Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. On today's show, we're talking about the fallout from yesterday's elections. Good for cannabis, good for oil, indirectly good for Disney. Not a great day for a casino expansion in Florida. We'll talk about all the implications from yesterday's election. We'll talk about the biggest earnings after yesterday's close and before today's open, and we'll preview the biggest earnings after today's close. Plus, we have that Fed meeting tomorrow, so maybe that'll come up as well. Our guest today, Jerremy Newsome, reallifetrading.com. He will join the show at 8:35 to give us his favorite trades right now. In the meantime, Joel, what's the word in the S&Ps?
We got some major green on the screen here. SPOOs are trading up 18 handles at 27.77. Your pre-market high comes in at 27.87. Your October 19th high, 2800.50. Another potential target on the upside if we could take out that pre-market high. Pre-market low, way down at 2744.75. You'll have to get through the closing price from yesterday at 27.59 first. So that closing price stands as our first support level. Crude trading up 60 cents at 62.80, perhaps getting a little bit of boost from the election results. And gold as well, trading in the green by $7 at $1,233.20. And silver up 18 cents at 14.68. Dennis, there's some green on the screen here, but is it widely distributed over the entire market?
Not in my P&L. Actually, I am slightly green here, but it's wild. My P&L is swinging really wildly here because I have so many positions on. So every time something ticks, it moves my P&L, obviously, pretty substantially. 27, so it's not a ton of positions. It was kind of a wild after-hours trading, a lot of chop, and we're talking from 4 to 8 because as we saw some early election, results starting to come out, you'd see the market spike and then it dripped down. So we actually probably had about 15 points worth of chop right even before the 8 o'clock close. And then obviously afterwards, I think, from the election perspective, it kind of went as expected, didn't it, Spencer? Maybe you can break it down, just, exactly what happened last night and what that means for the markets.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of, Congress, it did go pretty much as expected. Democrats took the House, Republicans kept the Senate. No real major upsets in terms of election. As far as individual legislative questions, it was a mostly good day for cannabis, marijuana, 4 major ballot initiatives, 3 of them passing. Recreational adult use passed in Michigan, medical use passed in Missouri and Utah, and recreational use did not pass in North Dakota. So 3 for 4 there for marijuana. The oil had a good day. There is a ballot initiative in Colorado that would have required greater distances between oil and gas drilling and public spaces. That was rejected. That's good news for the drillers here today. That's why you'll see those up. And in Florida, a ballot initiative to give Floridians the right to block future casino expansion in the state that passed. That is not great news for the casinos and for sports betting. It was supported by Disney. So maybe you'll see them trading up on this morning. So mostly good day for cannabis, a good day for oil, and a not good day for casino expansion in Florida in terms of individual ballot initiatives.
You're really starting to see some of this market give it back here, Joel. Let's just break down the after-hours action because we were up a lot more when I came in around 6:30 this morning, and we are starting to leak here substantially. I mean, look at a stock like Apple, and we're only at 0.8% now. Apple was up well over that before. Q's coming off their highs now. Like, it's not, we're not giving it all back, but we're off the highs.
Well, let's just take things into consideration here. I believe we've been let's see here. I believe it's 5 out of the last 6 trading sessions here. A lot of green candles. Let's see here. We had a 26.43.50 close just on October 29th. And then they had 1, 2, 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6 trading sessions. And we've had, added nearly 200 S&P handles with a majority of that trading action taking place overnight. Mid-range on the session, that'll be your first target here. That's 27.66, and then of course the closing price. So I mean, this is a big movement just over the last 5-6 trading sessions here. What's changed with the companies? What's changed with earnings? What's changed with interest rates? There's really nothing. I mean, these are election results, and we have a Fed meeting coming tomorrow. They're not going to do any price hikes, but we'll get the tone of the Fed. So yeah, the election's over, but all the concerns that we had, all the things that put a damper on the market in October are still there, and just perhaps just some profit taking, Dennis.
Just a little bit off the pop here. Obviously, we're not going to go straight up or straight down, and it's been a resilient rally for the last 7 days since we bottomed 7 days ago. And I look at the SPY chart and I think, you know what? It's tough here to call it now, because you came from at the beginning of October. Let's go a month back. Just approximately a month back. We got up to October 3rd with 293 on the SPY. We got down to 259 at the low. So quick math on that. What is that, Joel? You're good at your era math. 44 points. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, 34 points. 34 points. So now you get, about a 17-point rally from the lows, 18. You're right in the 50% area. So if you're looking, and if you believe in the fibs, this is the 50% retracement of the last move. There may be some people willing to lighten up in here.
Exactly right. I mean, I had we are actually trading right now at the exact 50% retracement at 27.75. For the SPOOs, that was from 29.47 down to 26.03. I mean, I'm not surprised that we've had a 50% retracement. I'm just surprised that we've done it in 5-6 trading sessions. So, technically, I think for longs here, it's a point of resistance. Are we just going to blow through 2,800? I don't think so. So, yeah, you're right, Dennis. And I'm sure the spiders align with that as well. So if you had like soft targets here on some longs, I mean, might not be a bad place to ring the register, especially if we just can't get back. Like 27.87 is your pre-market high. The longer it takes to get up and breach that high, get into the 27.90 handle, man, we might be flat here by the open, the way things are peeling back. But
it's hard to call this market,
yeah.
Hour to hour, or even minute to minute, or day to day. I mean, it's just a tough market to call. We've said, the last couple of shows, the market with no memory here, and it is a little bit of a random walk here. But if you're just taking a back, seat and just looking here at that chart, 50% retracement is coming in here. So I don't think I'm coming here buying stocks. That's what I'll say. I'm not buying stocks today.
And the other thing too is that, I'm sorry, Spencer, I'll let you go to this, is that like so much of this move was overnight. So when the stocks actually, haven't been able to trade at these levels, there's a lot of catch up. Spencer, what was your comment there?
Nope, that was Dennis.
All right, I'm sorry, Dennis. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I can't remember now. Keep flowing. You don't have to. I cut you guys off on this show 25 times a day, so you don't have to be nice. You just keep
25.
You ever watch that Fast Money show? Those guys just interrupt each other every 2 seconds.
No, they don't.
Every 2 seconds. It makes for good television, apparently. So obviously,
Well, Dennis just said he's not buying stocks today, and that was when his train of thought kind of went away.
Yeah, I think I'm just that 50% retrace. We've come a long ways here. So, and when I say I'm not buying stocks, I'll do day trades. Obviously, I'm day trading. I have 28 positions on right now. But I mean, from an investment standpoint, and that's why we like to talk on the show with different hats. I think you're late to the party if you come in here and investing now. You're buying somebody else's gains, because there's some people who are buying those when the stocks are going straight down and made a lot of money. I was not one of them in my long-term investment portfolio. Wish I would have been, but the sentiment has turned to a certain extent. So I do believe dips will be bought, but I just think we've run too far. So for me to come in here and start, putting stocks in my investment portfolio, I need to see, either a pullback here to try to get in, or some other reasoning here. But the 50% looms large here right now.
Okay, let's see here. John_Smith. Dennis, can you talk about the banks going into the FOMC meeting? Let's do that before we cover.
And you know what? They're starting. So right away, other things being equal, the first thing I always look at is the TLT. TLT is hot today. That is not good for the banks. That typically is good for your utility stocks, and the other one's not good for the banks, but you have a risk on day. So that is good for the banks. So right now in the morning, it looks like the risk on is a little bit more strong than the TLT, going the wrong way. So the two factors contributing to what the bank movement is today. That being said, the banks were up substantially, a lot more here about an hour ago, and they're starting to leak. So just be cautious here on the banks. I've got some pair trades going. I'm long JP Morgan, long XLF, short Citi. So that's just, looking at the different, spreads between those. So really I'm net neutral, the banks right now. They've come a long ways too. And if you just want to sit back, same thing. They look like the market. And when the market's really wild, everything starts to trade together. So, and that's what you're seeing here too with the banks. I mean, really, look at that Bank of America chart, BAC. You could say the same thing that we just talked about the SPY. And stock was 31, goes down to 26, 5-point move. It's valued $2.50 off the lows. So you're at the 50% retracement on this too. So if there's any institutional money that was uncomfortable with their position, or anybody who bought in the last couple of weeks, they might be willing to ring the register here. So I don't know if I'm coming in here and buying ahead of the Fed. I know, if interest rates continue to go up, that's going to be good news, but for the banks long term, but they really haven't responded all year to that. So, I don't know how much water that holds really. So 50% retracement looms large for this one as well.
And talking about the Bank of America specifically here, a major resistance at the 28.50 level. 28.50 is your pre-market high, and actually you've had a high at 28.52 and then a couple highs just below that. So definitely that's your major resistance in the Bank of America. Haven't looked at the XLF, and that is that made a pop. That's starting to leak a little bit. If you want a resistance level in that, to a pair of highs just over 27.09 is where we're currently trading. On the 17th and the 18th of October, we had highs at 27.07 and 27.18. The Fed's just not really expected to raise rates. They're going to wait to do that in December. It will be like their posture and their talk moving forwards. What is what the street will be listening for.
Go for, I'm just grabbing his name from the chat there. It's go for the W. I like that. Square sentiment has changed. Looking better is what he's saying. SQ, you know what? You got this 80. That's the level here. It can't seem, got up there. When it rebounded there from the lows in the beginning of October, got up to 80, failed, then sold off. Got up to 80 the other day, failed almost right exactly at 79.94. Got up to 79.37. There's sellers below 80 here. So until we can get above 80, I'm not going to jump on that square bandwagon. I know we got the upgrade yesterday, but it wasn't like it took off and blasted off on that upgrade there. It was up a little bit overall, but $80 is the big number for this. That's the level it needs to breach for me to get on board with the Square train.
Don't forget Square earnings today.
Oh yeah, and we got Square. So you can knock all that away because it all depends on, all that matters is the earnings report. So good call there, Spencer. Square does report here after hours. So they need to blow it away. I mean, all these tech stocks need to blow it away now. There's no forgiveness. If you're just slightly growing or anything like that, they're not going to forgive you on the higher beta names. So they blow it away, they can go higher. I mean, egg on our face yesterday for TWLO, and this is a good example here of, they blow it away. And this is why earnings are such a coin flip too. And, we talked on the show, and me and you or Joel were saying when the stock was 73 yesterday, we're like, you know what? I think I like this from the short side. I didn't put a position on. I don't know if you did. Did you try it?
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a coin flip. And, Nick Shaheen, if he's listening, good call because he went against us and went the other way. But also Nick always says, it's a binary event. So it's going to go up or it's going to go down. And they're so hard to predict. This is why I rarely trade earnings. I rarely try to predict whether, into the reports. I trade them after the report, after the news is out there. But when you're trying to, you're basically gambling before the report and thinking it's going to blow it away or thinking it's not going to blow it away. But you don't really know. Nobody knows unless you got inside information. And we've been joking, even the insiders sometimes don't know where it's going to go because sometimes you see a company blow it away on the top, bottom, and raise guidance like Lilly and go straight down. So it's difficult. It's a difficult trade. to make before earnings. And Square is going to be in the same boat here today. I mean, if you're buying or selling, holding through the report, it's a gamble. It's like going to the casino and put it on red or black and hope it comes in. And I'm not into the hope trade. I'm into more of edges. So that's why I usually take off. So when I have my positions on, I usually take them off prior to the earnings report. If I can, I almost always get out. Sometimes, I get stuck with something, or I have an algorithm that's picked something up near the close, and I'm like, oh boy, they report, and I try to work it as best I can after hours. But for the most part, I will always try to get out of the stock before it reports.
All right, let's. I think the 50% there in Square, if it can clear that $80 level, the 50% retracement comes in at 82, 83. But you can tell that. That 80 is capped a rebound off the initial low at 80. 32 was your high. Then it gave another poke at it, got right near 80 with a 79.94 high. So let's see what happens. Of course, the report can really change things.
Talking about Virtue Financial, VIRT. They reported earnings, but they also announced an acquisition. This is one of the biggest positions in my investment portfolio. I've been talking about on the show for a while, jokingly, that it's the hedge against volatility. It's worked well for me. I actually almost bought the bottom on this. I bought this like 1988, I think, in my investment portfolio. It came back down. I bought more at 20 and a half, and then I bought more at 21. It's 26.35, so it's worked really well for me. The reason I know this business, I know, not that I know all about what they're doing at Virtue Financial, but I specialize in trading. I'm sure a lot of it has overlapped with a lot of our own strategies as well. And I know in a highly volatile environment, they're going to be doing better. They are doing an acquisition here this morning. Spencer, give us the details on that.
Well, I'll give you the earnings and the acquisition. So the earnings,
sure.
Q3 adjusted EPS 22 cents, beat by a penny. Adjusted sales 177.9 versus 171.9. So slight beats on both EPS and sales for the Q3. You mentioned the acquisition. They're acquiring ITG for $30.30 a share.
A couple things here. I don't think they gave guidance, did they? I don't know if they give guidance.
Believe so.
It's hard to give guidance when you're a trading company because you don't know what's going to be. But consider this. You could say, oh, they only slightly beat. Well, it's been a great environment for them. Not so fast, because this is third quarter. So that ended September 30th. The volatility picked up October 1st. So that's, really, so it's not surprising that they didn't blow it away in the third quarter, because if you really look when the market really started to roll over and when the VIX really started to take off, it was after the third quarter. So I would expect the next quarter for Virtue Financial to be very good, because I think that they're kicking some butt, because I know I had my best month in, I think, 3 years in just last month in October. So I'd imagine they kicked some butt too. This ITG stuff was rumored. We already knew this was on the table. They were negotiating with them. If you look at the stock, you can see it already had the big pop from 22 to 28, and people have just been waiting for the price. So here's Virtue just trying to come in, and they're going head to head with Citadel. I mean, Citadel is obviously the gun in the trading markets there, but Virtue's going head to head with them too. And you know what? It's Virtue and Citadel are going to be running these markets eventually. They do so much trading.
And what was the acquisition, Spencer?
ITG, Investment Technology Group.
What's the symbol on that? Is that ITG?
ITG.
You know who called this one?
Who's that?
Kolb.
What was Kolb saying?
I don't know. In the kitchen yesterday, he was just talking about.
But this has been rumored for a long time.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if he called it before, like October.
No.
Rumors came out.
No. Yeah. So Matt Kolb, if you're listening, congratulations. I think he might have had both of them. Yeah, I think he had both of them going into report. So
nice.
He's probably hoping that they hang on here for the open. You're right, Virtue. It's the next quarter that's supposed to be the good one, but the street is liking what they see now. Pre-market high of 26.36, and we're just working on a big red candle here. That from July. July was a real bad month for the stock. It went from 26.55 all the way to 2015. So 26.55 was your close at the end of June, and your July high was 27.25. That's a couple levels for you on the upside in VIRT.
ton of stocks. We're going to get like those square reports tonight. Let's go to Coors, KORS from this morning, Spencer, because it's getting the beats here. Michael Coors not starting the retail season with a bang.
Nope, not. Q2 adjusted EPS $1.27 versus $1.10, so EPS beat there. Sales miss 1.25 versus $1.26 billion. A slight miss on that. We know that that's where the focus has been recently, and there's a chart up on the screen.
What was the guidance? Did they give guidance?
I don't have specifics. If they did,
I'm going to look
probably
too.
wasn't great guidance. Looking around,
it doesn't look like this. This is a comps. They were minus 5%. Is that what they were? Was that right? I just saw somebody. I just looked through my timeline there, and somebody said there was down 5%. Was that right on the comps?
No, I don't believe so.
Anyways, I don't know if that's right, so don't verify that. But a guidance, actually, I have it here. They see 495 to 505. Analyst estimates. Do you have analyst estimates? I don't have it in front of me. No. Actually, I do. Analyst estimates were 503, so it's a little bit light on the guidance too. And we know they don't like light guidance. So that being said, the stock has been annihilated really in the last month and a half.
Yeah, it
down
has.
to 57. It's now $50. At a certain point in time, you got to think, okay, it starts to become maybe attractive, but then you look at the longer term chart and you think, well, I don't know. In 2017, it's got down to $32. Could this be a scenario where it gives it all back? Eventually, I don't know. That's a question still to be answered. But I think the $50 psychological level may come into play. But these things are wild. It's already traded 210,000 shares. So if I'm doing a rental long, I follow Doug Cass. He's always got some good things he says. He does these rental longs. I probably wouldn't stay too long if that thing starts to take out the 50 support.
Pre-market low comes in at 50.13. Not much of a bounce off that, only trading at 50.51. Psychological level also 50 coming into play. Your monthly charts, though, they don't give you a lot to lean on here. 47.49. That was your low in November of last year. I'm sure you could go in there and find some daily lows, in between that. Street just been leading the right way on this one for a long time. We'll see if you start to get any kind of a rebound. Should be some kind of rally at some point today. After you made that low at 50.13, you've struggled to stay in the 51 handle. 51.32 was the high in your last bracket.
Jump over here just to some movers from last night. Match Group, MTCH, getting the beats on their earnings report. And that's why these are binary events. I mean, they're gambles if you're holding them through it. 51.47 is where it closed. 47.60 is where it's trading this morning. Spencer gives the details.
Yep, the Q3 GAAP EPS 44 cents. Not sure if that's comparable to the 36-cent estimate. Sales 443.9 versus 436. So beat on the sales estimate. The adjusted number 39 cents versus 36 cents. There we go. They also declared a $2 per share special dividend. I guess it's not good enough.
Not good enough is this? It's a thing. Like, you got to blow it away when you got these high multiples right now, and they did not do that. The one good news is there's a triple bottom, 47.25, 47.27, and I'm just looking 47.41, and that's just from October 25th through 30th, I believe. I just grabbed the dates fast. And you know what? It's still trading above that level.
Yeah.
So I would say it's got to hold that, or it starts to get ugly.
Yeah, just perfect technical analysis there. Got down to 44.22, but still trading above that level on the area of the triple bottom right there. That's called 47.30. Your high of the rebound off that low so far has been capped at 48.42.
Jump over Etsy. ETSY. They're wild. Some are up 10%, some are down 10%. So it all just depends on the coin flip of the earnings. And here's a good one.
Yep, good one indeed. EPS 15 cents versus a 7-cent estimate. Sales 150 versus $149 million. So beats on both for the Q3. The fiscal year sales guidance was raised $578 million to $596 million. On the low end of the fiscal year sales guidance range. They also bought back $200 million in stock.
It's a nice pop. that being said, you're coming back into the middle of the range here. So there's a lot of overhead supply from 48, 50, 52. I don't think you're going to chew through that easily. I think I'm more a fader of this pop, although I'd probably let the dust settle a bit because sometimes these things can get wild. But if you start to see, where it starts to slow down going up or starts to leak, I like it from a fade more than I think, more than chasing it here. Joel's on mute. He has to do it once a show. Although you haven't done that in a while. You've actually been pretty good.
Well, he's
I was just, you got me. I was on mute. Well, I coughed.
We just said that. I coughed.
You didn't want to hear me cough.
It's a good excuse. It's a legitimate excuse, Spencer.
We're picking up on the trigger.
I coughed too, and I just did it right live on the show.
40, let's see. Your high of the session comes in at 45.95. Not seeing a whole lot there. Let's see what happens. Get up to 47.06. I think is your first area of resistance here, based on the daily charts. Above that, a double top at 48.44, 48.45. So you want to see it get up to those levels and test those levels, take out, break into the 50 handle, or maybe look for a little bit of a leak here. Actually, 45, just trying to hold on here to 45.20 as the volume starts to come in the issue.
Here's one from the chat. We've got the YouTube chat looking at DXC here, earnings after the bail. Q2 EPS, $2.02 versus $1.94. Sales, 5.01 versus 5.3 billion. So a beat on the EPS, a miss on the sales. It's getting cracked this morning. DXC. Yeah,
it got cracked. I don't know what happened to this stock back on October 23rd, but it really got cracked. It went from $87 all the way down to $69 that one day. So I'm not sure if that was an earnings warning or what that was. But if it was an earnings warning, they're cracking it again on the report. And we've seen this before where they warn, they go down, then they report, and they go down anyways. It's better not to warn. But I'm not sure. Is that what happened back on? Can you look at the pro, Spence?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. October.
I'm curious if that was an earnings warning.
October, what was it again?
October 24th. Could have been late on the 23rd.
Yeah, well, they ousted their U.S. CEO. And they did give guidance. And AK was out that day.
They warned.
Yeah, they warned fiscal year EPS guidance around $8.
Isn't it funny how they do that sometimes, where they hit them down on the bad news, then they consolidate, and then they announce the bad news and they hit them down again. Or sometimes, obviously they didn't turn around in one quarter. Maybe the guidance going forward is bad again. But I mean, it's when you warn. I never would want to own a stock into a quarter that had already been warned on, because they rarely are going to go all the way back up, because they didn't probably turn around the last week. So, there's a rule to write down there. Stock warns about the coming quarter. When they report, I don't want to be long it.
They get double punished.
Double whammy. Punished twice. This market's mean.
Mean market. Someone really had an opinion here at $66 here on the initial surge down. 1, 2, 3, 4 brackets in a row. Four in a row. 66 even. They held it, popped up to 67.17. So if you return to the scene of the crime here at 66, see if that buyer is still present. Underneath that level, you have a July low at 65.42.
Somebody wants to know about AMD in the chat. Griffin does, and the stock is up here this morning. I wish I was actually looking at this thing when I was pulling back, and I was like, man, if I could ever get back to that 15. So it's just too greedy. Should have just bought some, and obviously I didn't. 16.17 was the low. It's now $21, so it's on its way back, trying to fill a gap in there, Joel. What do you think of the chart?
Well, did you see that news yesterday, Dennis?
What was the news now?
Let's see here. I believe one of their chips was going to be offered on Amazon.
Yes.
And that was just like in the middle of the day. I mean, a really unusual
move. Blast off on that?
Yeah, it did. It got all the way up to 21.65, and I believe they hit the Intel along with it. So that had its big rally yesterday. 21.65, I mean, it could work its way up to fill the gap from earnings. That would need to take it to 22.75. That's when you had that bad day, when it went from 22.79 to 19.27. So not even near a 50% retracements.
We're going to get imbalances here in 10 seconds. So I'm going to try to give them to you live. I'm also trade that information a lot of times. So bear with me here. Maybe you can play some music here while I get ready.
While you do that, we'll do TWLO. We didn't do TWLO yet right now. So we'll do TWLO earnings after the close yesterday. Q3 EPS 7 cents versus a 2 cent estimate. Sales of $168 versus $150 million. So beats for both the EPS and sales. For the Q3, the Q4 EPS guidance coming in higher by 1 or 2 cents, 3 to 4 cents versus a 2 cent estimate. Sales guidance coming in higher as well, 183 versus $161 million. Fiscal year guidance also higher on the EPS and higher on the sales. So guidance higher across the board and sales beats and earnings beats.
Yeah, we already said about the egg on our face. We just never broke down the numbers here. It's got the pop there, Joel. You wanted to sell a pop on this. It's a little bit more than what we expected. We were like, as it gets to 78 or 80, we'd be interested in selling that too. You were saying into the pop, and
yeah,
it's good. More than that now. I don't know what to say. It's a good report. I still think there's overhead supply here. Could it go up to 85, 87? Yeah, it could. I think you're going to find sellers here eventually, though.
Man.
I think if I was long this, I think it's a gift. That's my opinion. I think you're still in. I think you're still in, way below the 50% of the overall market. Bears still have a serious case here. It's a higher beta name. Is this going to blast off and go to $100 on this report? I don't think so. I think you're in a little different environment here now.
Hey, Dennis, I know why your Boeing's not up as much now.
What's Boeing doing?
Issues 737 MAX safety bulletin.
Nah, that don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Boeing's still trading in the green here, so
I don't know what a MAX.
Boeing alerts pilots after an Indonesia crash. U.S. agency to mandate Boeing bulletin issue. I think they just do stuff like that. But anyways, I'm not following the story close enough. So they really.
All right, we had our worst call of the year here, probably on this one here. Don't give credit when credit's not due here, but no, I mean, I looked at some of the options on this one, and they're like the premium gods were just working. They were just for all this out of the money stuff. They just wanted an outrageous amount. So I backed off. I'll keep an eye on it. Some people in the chat, if you're interested here, seem to have a seller around $84 level, and the reason I say that is the initial pop took it to 84.42. Seller stepped down to 84.20, 83.98, 84.28. So that's $1.90 away. And with these kind of stocks, you want to get back up to that pre-market high. You want to take out 84. Oh, do you have a daily high there too? Oh, you also have a daily high at 83.63. So you have the pre-market highs coinciding with a daily high. If you're looking for this thing to continue rallying, you want to see it get back over $84. The high after that really opens up to the middle 87 handle. So the longer it takes to get back up, take out that 84 here. I look for a little bit of a fade here, but we'll see how if it gets back up near 84, maybe take a look at some puts in this one. But when you're wrong on something one day and then it comes right back, maybe let it rest a day or two. If I was long, I would have been out at like 77 or 78.
Oh yeah, I would have.
So I couldn't even give you opinion here. We just fell under $82 in Twilio.
What were those imbalances, Dennis?
BABA 62,000 to buy. That's a standout. We are seeing strength in China here this morning. So if you look at your FXI, it is trading up. But you look at the individual stocks. BIDU is up 2%. BABA's already trading up over 2%. Some of the smaller names. We did have. Was it WB that was due to report? Spencer, did we get that report? I thought Weibo was supposed to report.
Oh,
Wachovia Bank?
No.
No, it is the old Wachovia Bank symbol.
WB.
No,
Chatter's too young to remember.
I think they're due. Are they due today? Are they on the calendar?
No, they're not on my. I didn't see Weibo at all.
I don't know. Maybe I have a bad calendar.
Why could be no. I don't know. But remember that Singles Day. Great point by Nick yesterday. Singles Day is Sunday. That's a huge day, biggest day of the year for online shopping, and we know that Alibaba tends to run up ahead of that. So
it's not a bad time here.
Right.
It wouldn't have been a bad time yesterday to pick up some BABA. Obviously, it's already up $3 here, but on pullbacks here, I'm interested in BABA too. Still have it in my long-term investment portfolio. Other imbalances,
Yeah.
and they're small. 106,000 to buy. It's just interesting because the buy imbalance there. Some of your defensive names have a sell balance. Coke 85,000 to sell. Procter Gamble 26,000 to sell. Risk on day, not surprising. IBM, which has just been on a tear ever since Xbox and stock, put on another 4 points yesterday. 100 or another 4 points with this morning. It's up 30,000 to buy here. So IBM's been a monster the last couple of days.
Yeah, and Spinner pointed out to us I think at the end of last week, that someone was in there and they were just buying the 120 calls hand over fist. And then you get the old Gilmore report formation there. Institution was just taking all the stock it could between 114.09 and 115.11. You had 4 days in a row. They stepped it up to 116 the following day. So IBM trying to work its way back up. I believe on the day before that it did the Red Hat acquisition, it had a 123.95 high. So we are trading above that. Your next daily high comes in at 125.78. So nice rebound here for IBM, certainly helped out by the market.
All right, it is 8:36. We're going to take a quick break and grab our guest for the day, Jerremy Newsome, CEO of reallifetrading.com. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. We're joined now by Jerremy Newsome, reallifetrading.com. Jerremy, how goes it this morning?
It's going good, my friend. Always goes good when I get a chance to speak to you and hear your beautiful, illustrious voices before market open.
We're honored. We're honored. So what's it been like for you this earnings season? Having a good few weeks here with this market?
Yeah, man, it actually has been. I think that the gaps have been playing out well. I like the movements. They've been holding up, kind of doing what they should, I feel like. So I'm up nicely over the last month and a half, with the earnings season. I like the gaps, I like an option plays, selling some premium, with the VIX spiking a little bit down. So that's been good. So, yeah, man, it's been going nice. I'm happy.
Yeah, and Jerremy, he likes to text Dennis and I with his trading recommendations here, and so we got a couple here. He stayed on the Tesla bandwagon, right? Even though when it got down to 250, 260, he sold some puts there. Pretty. They were pretty cheap. Pretty far out. Have you been able to bring those in yet, or are you just going to stay with them until they go off the board worthless?
Dude, I appreciate you remembering that. Yes. So Tesla, I'll tell you why I was such a big believer. Here's the truth. I listened to the biography of Elon Musk on Audible. Have you guys checked that out yet?
No, I have not.
So if you do, you'll probably end up buying a Tesla. I'm not kidding. It was such a good biography. Anyway, so that was like number 3 reason why I was just so bullish. Number 2 was at support. Number 1, I really did feel like they were going to be on earnings. I saw so many Teslas when I was in California. I saw at least 5 delivery trucks. They have all those Teslas on them. I saw 5 of them like in a row, and I was bullish on it. So yes, I did end up buying those back. I've sold a few because remember they were at $100 strike price, Joel. $100 at $1.50. So I just didn't think that Tesla was going to fall 70% or whatever. I just didn't.
And
see
you
that
believe
happening.
people would buy those things? I mean,
dude,
you to sell so.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Well, Jeremy, it's funny you mentioned the biography because our boss Jason, he's been bullish to Tesla for a while, but he read that or listened to it, whatever, like a year ago as well, and it's like he was a changed man. It was like there was like before the biography and then there was after, because afterwards he came in and he was like pounding the table. And so I don't know, I haven't read that book, but I guess I have to, because now you're the second person who has basically come in and said, if you read this book, you'll fall in love.
It'll change you.
Okay.
All right. And then your other prediction, Jeremy. Now, what Jeremy did when Walmart had that earnings pop, okay, he said that if it didn't, what was the all-time high in that? I believe it was the all-time high. I think you said 108. And it said if it didn't get up to 108 by the end of the year, that he was going to take everyone from the PreMarket Prep show shopping at Walmart. Right?
Did I say that?
That's what did you put that out there in one of your videos that you were going to take the whole, we all had to get down to Nashville and then we were all going to go to Walmart and then you were going to buy groceries for everybody. Wasn't that your statement, or am I off?
Almost verbatim. That was it.
I remember that too. I already booked my Nashville. What was the price I asked to get to?
108.
You know what? He's going to get there, though. The guy's going to be right, Joel.
Yeah.
You got the time.
Actually, what he said was, and I'm just giving him a hard time here, was that he was going to go to Walmart and buy a random person's groceries, is what he was going to do. So he was going to work. He was going to look for a really skinny person pulling up in a Tesla, and then he was going to offer. He was going to offer. I'm sorry. I'm giving you a hard time, Jeremy. But
no. It's very valid.
Okay, so we know, Jeremy, we know the way that you like to trade in the market is like when you're coming in and you see a stock's going up, you're not a fader like me and Dennis are. You're not a hater. You're a lover. So where are you buying TWLO today? A good report out of TWLO. Are you going to put a different hat on for this one, Jeremy? Give us a setup.
Yeah, man, I might kind of have to. I mean, this one, so TWLO, I agree. So I remember Dennis talking about it, and he was just mentioning that it could easily fly up to 87 and then roll down. I think that's actually kind of valid. I mean, up 15%. I'm still kind of blown away that they're as valuable as they are as far as just like a text app company. I mean, this thing has been on a gargantuan move, right? I mean, since the beginning of the year, they've pretty much tripled. So this particular gap up, I do like it. If it opened at 80, it would be a blind Kobe Bryant layup type of buy. But gapping to 81, if it could pull back to 80, we'll see. If it pulls back to 80, I'm a buyer. But I think at this particular level, I'm just going to wait. Like Dennis said, let the dust settle, let some selling come in, and then I'll look to go long on a pullback. Etsy's the one I'm really bullish on.
When Etsy, all right, give us your setup in Etsy.
Yeah. So Etsy, this is a beautiful gap, man. This is solid. I'm definitely a lover on this one. So you're coming into the end of the year, right? You're coming into Christmas season, Thanksgiving season. People want to buy gifts. And Etsy, I've always been saying that Etsy has a little bit of a different market dominance than Amazon. You're buying two different things on Amazon or Etsy. Obviously, Amazon's the powerhouse. We all get that. But Etsy was a good play because if you're going to go shopping and you want to buy something, nice or handmade or crafted, something different, you're going to go on Etsy rather than Amazon, I think. And I think that this is overall, actually for a long-term play, I like Etsy. I like the fact that it took out its IPO high, back in June, that 35, 36 level. I mean, the last 2 years, we're talking about it's gone from $10 to $50. Well, that's growth, man, right? So this gap, I like this gap a lot, actually. I think it's bullish. I'd wait like 2-3 minutes Hewitt candles form, and then if it starts crushing higher, get in long.
Have you ever bought anything on Etsy?
I have, yeah. I've bought a lot on Etsy. Yeah, I bought a lot on Etsy. So that's
the real question.
That's one of the reasons I think that.
The real question is, have you sold anything on Etsy? That's the real question.
Oh, that is the question. I've never sold anything on Etsy. I think. Have you sold anything on Etsy?
My brother-in-law has an Etsy page. He does woodworking in his garage, and I think it's called. Here, we'll do an advertisement for him. It's called the blonde and the beard. I think he's from the north. Nice. He's got the beard and he's got the blonde wife, and they just sell all kinds of different stuff, woodworking stuff. So, anyways, pitch for Dustin if you're listening out there. Blonde and the beard. There you go. On
there
Etsy.
You go.
They sell stuff, man. He's so busy because he works a full-time job, and then he's doing this woodworking on the side. And he's like, I got so many orders all the time, like fill the stuff that he's selling. He needs to get
that's the thing. That's the reason
I like it.
I mean, you give the power to the individuals, and there's actually people out there making money off of Etsy, like serious money. So I'm a fan, honestly. Long term, I like it.
Ike Lizardo here in the chat is asking about, and I don't know about this one, something about Apple in your prediction. I wonder what Jerremy thinks about Apple and his prediction for Apple, please. I don't know if they want something moving forward or looking back, something you did in the past.
Both of those are a possibility. I'm always talking about here's my prediction, man. I'll give you a good one. So this gap that happened back on earnings, that needs to fill before December, and it probably will. So I think Apple could go all the way up to 216 because that gap, dude, is damaging. If that thing does not fill, if it'll go back up to 216.84, 217 between now and December, and that's a left open window, that's going to be a little rough on Apple. I feel like, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I think
break
Apple
that down. Why is that damaging, Jerremy? Just to like a little education here, for
sure.
Why is that so damaging if it doesn't get back up there?
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. So the October 31st and the November 1st, both of those were really strong bullish candles. In fact, November 1st, you actually make a higher high and a higher low relative to the really bearish October 29th candle. What happened when the gap was created is it creates what's referred to as an island reversal. So a very small island reversal is on a macro fractal scale. So it's like an hourly chart island reversal. So it's not really a super, super strong daily island reversal. We have like 5 or 7 or 8 candles up there. So it's just 2, but you have a perfect double window gap, which is very rare, especially on Apple. So from 215.30 to 216.78, you have an imbalance. You have people who are just sitting there who have made money and also lost money equally over each other. So the fact that that's still open and that we gap down on what I would argue were phenomenal earnings again, that's just a really strong indicator that phenomenal, there's a lot of people trapped.
Really? Are we calling those phenomenal? Maybe they weren't bad, but were they phenomenal?
Dude, I mean, they made more money than Procter & Gamble is going to make all year in one quarter. And it was not even their not even their busiest quarter. I mean, 63.7 billion again.
It was going down probably no matter what, just because it had held up for so long and the other tech stocks that all went down. It was going to have to like Nick Shaheen says, come up with a flying car to try to go higher there. So,
dude,
anyways, it was going down.
Well, I'll give you that expectations were probably a little bit too high, especially for the services and iPhone sales. So the fact that they missed that maybe is a little bit more on the high expectations than says more about that than what they actually did. But they still haven't really diversified beyond those two things. And we saw that report a day or two ago about the iPhone XR demand weakening. So I don't know if I would call it an outstanding report. Maybe it wasn't as bad as the street took it to be, but anyway, agree, disagree. But regardless, Apple here just sort of hanging out.
Let me ask you this, Jerremy. Now you're talking about the gap on the upside here created by the earnings. But why aren't you saying it has to fill the gap here that it has on the downside that it had from the last earnings report? I believe that gap's between 192 and 197. I mean, is that just because you look at the fundamentals of the stock here that make you say that? But I mean, one of these gaps is going to be filled, and what makes you so I don't want to say so confident, but equally, I mean, it's actually probably close. That's right in between the middle of filling those gaps. So you don't see Apple in the lower 190s?
That's a very valid question. So that's kind of my prediction, actually, that the gentleman might be referring to. Is I think it fills this earnings gap, trades up to 216, and then I think we actually do roll back down. I think the whole market rolls back down one more time. Doesn't have to be this year. I don't think it's going to be a travesty. Like, I don't think people are going to be, outrageously scared. I think we could have one more equal low, or a little bit of a lower low relative to what we just did on the S&P, on the Qs. It would just kind of make sense from a wave structure standpoint. So honestly, Joe, I love it if Apple trades up to 216, fills the gap, rolls back down to 192, like in late November on the count of kind of what Spencer's talking about. Because again, I do kind of agree that maybe the word phenomenal is overused, but the thought process behind both those gaps, I think they do get filled. And I think Apple does trade down to the lower 190s, maybe late December, early January timeframe, and then it's going to be a buying frenzy.
Okay. All right. I just got one more question for you, and this is just, general market here. When we had that big decline there, and you got extended volatility. How do you adjust your trading style to account for the heightened volatility?
Heightened volatility. So I do a lot more day trading. I do a little bit less directional swing trading. Because with swing trading, you're doing you're holding over days, right? Usually 2, 3, 4 days minimum, and then you have days or weeks maximum. So I'm usually doing less swing trading once a bunch of volatility happens, because I did get stopped out on a lot. The October 10th, October 11th, I got stopped out some swing trades for sure. So I kind of slowly cut back on those, started ramping up option selling, and trying to sell some puts or sell bull put spreads really far away on the indices, and just really ramping up my day trading. Because with volatility like that, that's what you want for a day trader, because you more or less, you can get $1, $2, $3 moves on the SPY in a day, which is insane town. So yeah, that's pretty much the answer to your question. Is once I do get some volatility and I see that there's some big breakdowns, I see that there's a lot of spikes, I usually wait for my swings. I'm in a decent amount of cash. I'm waiting for some bottoms, because I still do think we're in a bull market. I still think we make another all-time high. I don't think this is the top by any means. And yeah, man, I think overall, just when something like that happens, you do have to play defense, and it is very, very useful to know how to day trade in markets like that.
All right. Well, and on that note, Jerremy Newsome, reallifetrading.com. Jerremy, thanks for your time as always, and have a good one.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Have a great day.
All right. Hey, guys, let's go over to cannabis here for a second, because I mentioned it at the top of the show. It did have a mostly good day at the polls yesterday, and we tend to see these stocks trade up pretty much every morning in the pre-market session. But here, I'll just pull up a CGC or a Kronos or whatever here, and we can look at that, because cannabis legalized now in 3 more states.
Nice boost here for canopy growth here. You know what I'll do? I'll just go, let's see, you had a high at 59 on that move. You went down to 32. So that's 17, 8.5 off that. Let's see here. Is that right? Or no, that's 27, right? My air math isn't working here. You had a high of, let's call it 59, a lower 32, 42, 52. No, 47, the 50% retracement takes you right back to that 46, 47 area. I see one high here at 47.83. High hanging up here, high in the pre-market session, 44.60. Dennis, you seen anything in the pot stocks?
they've just been on a wicked rally. I mean, it's been a 5-6 day rally. They're up here again here this morning. Rally's getting a little bit stretched. So if you're coming in now, I think you're late to the party. Obviously the time to buy was a week and a half ago when these things were going straight down and in the gutter. So I think if you're coming in here now, could you ride it a little bit further? Potentially, but definitely I think in the 7th or 8th inning of this recent rally here, I think we're due for a pullback eventually.
All right, and let's look at good old Tilray. That came back down to earth.
Tilray hasn't gone. There's an exception there. Well, it is this morning it's going, but that one really hasn't gone. Like I'm looking at like the CGC, you hit $33, $31.82 a week and a half ago. It's $43.52. I mean, they're talking about a stock that's up 25% here in a week and a half. Tilray hasn't gone nearly as much, although it's a little bit more wild shot. 84, 113. Well, I guess it's there too. They have gone a little bit there. It doesn't look as stretched though. Chrono, CRON, you start thinking it gets to 10 again. It was just in the 6s, probably runs an overhead supply. That's the problem here now, is people who get beat up on this stuff, and they're going to be looking to get their money back now. It's not as easy as it was a couple months ago when they were going straight up and they didn't have overhead supply. Now we got an overhead supply issue here again. So I think you're going to start to run into some resistance here just because you got some people who are buying these things and chasing them, and they're starting to get their money back. They'll probably be looking to get out.
And also, I mean, a little bit early here for end of the year tax selling, but there anybody that got caught up in this thing and is looking to take a loss here. These are potential. And who I think I was talking about GE with Spinner the other day too. And if you talk about a candidate for for end of the year tax selling, this one has had a decent bar yesterday. Matching highs at 953. That was your high from Monday, and that was your high from Tuesday. So I don't know if you could get all excited here if it clears that. Your 3-day high at 966. But let's see if General Electric has $10 on its mind.
Let's go to Zillow. Is kind of the big earnings that earnings report we didn't hit yet. It's getting crushed here, at least last I looked this morning. The Q3 sales after the bell yesterday, 343 versus 344 million dollars. What other numbers do I have here? They were halted, which is unusual. You don't always see a halt, ahead of a report like that. But they were halted. They were at right after the close of 401.
Yeah,
and,
right away.
Yep. And let me see. I don't have an EPS print here, but sales missed. They got a new CFO. That's weird. But anyway.
I mean, they missed last quarter. The thing gapped down from 60 down to 50. It leaked the whole quarter, and now it's doing it again down. Obviously, the story is in real trouble here, whatever the story is. I'm not sure the whole reasoning there, but it's given back its entire gain from 2018. It's actually starting to get back its gain from 2017.
Wow.
So you're talking about a stock that's actually approaching, we're ways from the $19 we hit back or the $16 we hit in 2016, but the story is ugly.
I'm just going to monthly lows here. I see one at 32.56, 32.90, and 32.18. Have not printed into 31 handle yet. Let's see here. Maybe did 31.80 was your low tick, but maybe shorts have to cover sometime in here. We'll see if we can find a bottom here between 31 and 32, stage a rebound. But boy, this stock just a few months ago was back in June was 65.70. So 2-for-1 uninitiated stock split.
1 minute here left. Just thoughts here as we chop around. I feel like I'm still going to say it. I feel like we're a little bit extended here on the recent rally. Could we break out? Could we go to SPY 280? Maybe, but your resistance point is pretty well, a pretty good line in the sand up near there at 280. Getting close, you would be over the 50% there, but the 280 highs, back in, we can go to October 16, 17, 281, 280, those kind of stand out. So you're 3 points away from there. I'd love to get up there because I'd actually like to try it from the short side. I don't know if you got that much gas to get there, and I think you're going to have some people willing to lighten up. So I'm not chasing this rally today. That's my opinion.
All right, just recapping the S&Ps here. Your pre-market high comes in at 0.87. Nothing really on the charts above that. 2800.50. That was your October 19th high. Coming back on the downside, we did peel back just as we started the show. We peeled back to 2774. I would expect a little more downside if that level is breached mid-range on the session, 2766. And I'm sure a lot of shorts would love to see that closing price of 27.59.
I'm just not seeing any imbalances here to really drive us higher either. I'm seeing a lot of sell imbalances here. And it's early. The things are going to change. We have 30 minutes yet, so things can change. But as of right now, what I'm seeing in the pre-market, I'm concerned that this rally could get faded.
All right, Spencer, you want to wrap things up here?
Sure. That'll do it for today's show. If you missed any part, you can catch our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, or Google Play, or just rewatch the show on youtube.com/Benzinga TV. Thanks to our guest, Jerremy Newsome. Thanks to all of you in our chats on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. That chat's going all day, even after the show ends, so check that one out. That'll be it for us. Joel is off tomorrow, so it'll be just Dennis and I with you on tomorrow's show. Please remember, everything on our show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. And on that note, we'll see you guys and gals, and we'll hope you have a good day. See you tomorrow.